Welcome back again, everybody. Kind of funny to see us in the same outfits, isn't it?
Yeah, days
yeah,
pass,
what's
yet we still wear the same clothes.
Yeah. Hey, it's a quarantine situation, so laundry is a hard thing to do when you're
Right.
sitting around with so much time on your hands.
He doesn't
but,
care what I wear. I don't care what he wears.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we're going to be vain about things, and who we have to be vain to when you're not leaving the house at all, just your
Exactly.
roommate? Yeah, no, sorry,
Doesn't-
not going to work that way. Got another top 10 list for you. This time we're going in a bit of a different direction than we did before.
But the
because
same vein.
Yeah, same vein. Obviously, we're in comic book territory still. We like a lot of comic book movies that are out there. We just went through a list of those, but now we're going to go to the flip side here, and we're going to get brutal. It's time to be savage because we can't help ourselves. We have opinions. We like these movies. We know a lot about them. We know a good movie objectively when we see it, and when we don't get to see it in comic book form, it just makes us sad inside. Really just kind of deters us from wanting to watch them anymore because they've just done so much bad for so little good in the whole universe of comic book movies. So today, again with RSNK,
Hello.
we're going to take a moment to divulge and dive into all the, in our opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree because, again, when it's objectively a bad movie, you can't get around it.
Yeah.
The top 10 worst comic book movies.
Absolutely terrible.
Starting off with number 10, of course, I think there's a few fans out there for this. We might ruffle a few feathers with that, but I don't know too many of them other than one longtime high school friend of mine.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four movies. All of them.
Yeah.
You can't really just pinpoint one when you've got
They're equally
that much of a track record of really bad movies. And there's only three. So, a
It's
first,
not a trilogy,
a
though.
sequel, and then
A remake.
A remake, yeah. That they really did put some extra time and effort into because it looked visually a lot better, but I didn't even see it to have to know that it was going to flop, and it did pretty bad. So obviously the characters are not that popular. I think they've got some cool synergy. I think they kind of work well together. Obviously their story starts off with the four of them changing into what they are, but to take something that's kind of an okay story and then just kind of do it so badly, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but yet it does.
I think if the MCU got a hold of it, it might do a lot better. I don't think it's going to be great.
Yeah, now that they've finally gotten a few worthwhile
better.
franchises out of the clutches of Fox, X-Men being one of them, I'd like to see what they're going to do with it now because they've done well in the past. They've done well at the MCU. I'm not going to say that they knocked it out of the park per se, but I was definitely entertained by the majority of the movies.
In the second movie, they really try to do some serious space type stuff that they weren't really doing. So it was pretty big for them. And I think that's a problem with a lot of these movies actually, or a few of these movies, is that they just went too big for what money they had.
Yeah.
And they just didn't have what it took. I thought Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer wasn't a bad idea or a bad choice. I just think maybe they just needed to go to somebody that knows something about these characters a little bit more, and maybe hire somebody other than Jessica Alba's body. I mean, her body of work.
Her body of work, her face, her nice hair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
Whatever
know
it
what
is.
It was all about, but Captain
we
America.
knew what you were trying to do there, and it didn't save the whole movie. I'm sorry. You can't really hold up an entire movie on your shoulders when you're that kind of an actress.
The best part of the movie was Captain America. I mean, Johnny Blaze. I mean, whatever his name is.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Kind of funny to see him. We've had a few actors play two different universes before, Ryan Reynolds and Chris Evans, but too many times can you bounce back and forth and actually be liked in both roles?
Yeah, well done.
Interesting.
Well done. And
obviously this goes to show that comedic actors can stand the test of time, and they are pretty good. It's just unfortunate to see Chris Evans do a complete deviation because apparently everybody in the MCU universe was comic relief, and yet Chris Evans, who actually has some comedy chops, wasn't comedic.
Yep.
At all.
Until the end when everybody was funny.
Yeah. When we're talking about America's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Ha-ha!
Hey, yeah, you got a chuckle out of us one time. So, yeah, unfortunately, Fantastic Four just fell flat in every aspect. And should it be redone and remade?
Maybe.
No, I don't really think it should. I mean, yeah, you could try it again. I mean, it's not our money you guys are playing around with here. We're not going to go see it in the theaters. It could be a great watch on DVD, Blu-ray, video,
think that
VHS
if
later. But
done it in like the 1960s or something, nowadays make it based in the 1960s.
Oh, yeah.
And that space race probably would have made more sense to me.
True.
But whatever, I'm not a director. I know nothing.
Yeah.
So
we're not screenwriters. We don't know what we're talking about here. We just know and watch a lot of movies. So, that's got to count for something, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
not a very great piano player, but my father was a piano mover.
I watched a lot. That's got to count for something.
Mm-hmm.
So moving right along, I haven't seen this one in a while, but I wanted to put this on the list because there was a remake that was better, and it's mostly because he kept his mask on, and we did just talk about this.
Again, staying true to the character.
Yeah, we did talk about this in the last video. is Judge Dredd.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about you, Sylvester Stallone.
I am.
You know, I don't need your codpiece. I'd want your mask on
Yeah.
the whole time.
You're a buff dude, but you're wearing yoga pants the entire time there, dude.
And
Just
platform shoes.
not cool. Yeah, well, you always wear platform shoes.
Well,
we
more
know.
so.
Sorry,
More
you're,
so.
you're not pulling the wool over our eyes. We know.
More so in this
Yeah.
situation. But yeah, he definitely, that movie. I'm sorry, I didn't.
It went off in a couple of different weird directions.
Yeah.
You got a few chuckles out of me with Rob Schneider just because he is funny, and I
Yeah.
think that he,
Deuce
brightened the
Bigelow.
movie up a little bit because it was not so much a dark tone, it was just more of a boring tone.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't really grab me with cinematography, the whole
No.
overall story.
No.
I'm sorry, but how many times do you have to say, I am the law?
There's a lot of law talking.
Yeah.
in it.
Law!
I mean, like I said, they made a remake that was better.
Yeah,
And it had,
venturing off into the weirdness of clones, the movie just lost me in a lot of regards, and it just fell flat with audiences. I don't recall if it flopped in the box office by
I think
any
it
means,
did.
but it really should have, and
Yeah.
for lots of good reasons. And ultimately, I think the probably most comic book accurate thing out of the whole thing was the costume that was worn for the beginning of the movie, and that's it.
To be honest, I don't think Stallone's career has recovered since.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, I enjoyed The Expendables, but can you really say there's much else about that he's done lately that you can say is a good body of work?
All the Expendables were entertaining.
Yeah.
They are not the greatest work
No.
I've ever seen in my life.
And they were good for what they were intended to be, which is just a hilarious buddy flick action movie. That's
Yeah.
all they were,
And bringing people together that probably should have been in movies together like 25 years ago.
like a long time ago. Yeah.
But-
and unfortunately, back in that day, I think superhero, or not superhero,
They
but
were superheroes, though.
they were superheroes in a lot of people's minds, but action hero or action stars back then, their egos are just too big to get in the same screen with anybody, and it kind of hurt a lot of what could have been.
Their egos were writing checks that their talents couldn't cash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But moving right along, once
Yeah.
again, to one of our favorite redemption stories, but
Yeah.
not for this.
One of our
character
favorite
so much.
actors, and again, shows that you can go between two franchises and be all
And
right
two
for it.
cinematic universes.
Because both these guys we're talking about went up a step for sure. They were definitely dwindling a little bit, and the movies bombed and flopped and all that. And of course, we're talking about Green Lantern this time, talking
Yeah.
about Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
So it's nice to see him take a step up again. So to kind of move from one franchise to the other was kind of an interesting
But
lateral move.
animating
but
his outfit, giving him white contacts, really poor choices.
Mhm.
The main bad guy, not a very good. Actually, neither of the bad guys were really good choices. You had Sinestro in there.
yeah,
He's kind of pondering the idea of being evil
Yes.
until the very end, and you're going, oh.
he's caressing that evil kitten and wondering if
Right.
he wants to make it his own.
And all of a sudden, boom, there he is at the end. And you're like, well, this next movie might actually be, we're never going to do another
But
one
we're never
because
going to get one because it flopped so
it
bad.
was such a crappy film, you know?
Like so many movies of the past where it's like, okay, I can't sit here and say like Golden Compass was a great movie, but I wanted to see it finished off at least. I was enough
Yeah.
invested in the story that I was like, okay, I'll be interested to see the sequel when it comes out. Whoops.
Yeah, well, they just did it made so many poor choices in the first one that
Mhm.
there was no way you were going to have a decent second one. And, I still think you could have been a good Green Lantern. It really
Yeah.
wasn't that bad of a character choice.
I think you're playing to your strengths as usual, but
Yeah.
sometimes just bad directing and
Yeah.
budget and writing can really
And you
hurt a
went-
good actor.
You went to space for like the first time, really went to space. You're
Yeah.
on a whole other planet. And there were a lot of CGI characters. And it was a lot for a lot of people to take in. I think it was around the time where not everybody had 4K or 1080p TVs. So you weren't really watching it at its fullest glory. And watching it later on TV, I'm like, it doesn't look as bad as the first time I watched it.
Yeah, and they can do a lot to clean
But-
that up later on, but
yeah.
just unfortunately it was too far gone before it had a chance to redeem itself or come back at all, and it's fallen on number 8 on our list for that very reason. But
Yeah.
again, still good on your Ryan Reynolds because you definitely redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
So we're happy for you with that, and we'll continue to watch.
And
your
this
movies.
one, the next one on our list, number 7 here, I don't think has any redemption song.
No, basically when I think of this movie, all I can do is big old fat hairball.
Oh, man.
Catwoman.
Mm.
Love the character in the
Yeah.
comic books.
Terrific.
Selena Kyle's amazing. I think that she is a great counterpart to Batman in a lot of ways, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
love their back and forth love story.
Great relationship.
When you cast her as Halle Berry, suddenly she's got no right being in any realm as a Batman movie or with Batman at all, because suddenly it was all about her. It was all about Catwoman being her own entity, her own badassness. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, back in the day before feminism turned into what it is now, they definitely had a good voice, and I thought it did bring some equality back to the strong female character role, which we've already had plenty of before this happened, and we can have honorable mentions out the wazoo for badass female characters in movies, but I digress. When you put somebody in this role when it was her ego that was cast for it and not her acting ability to actually try and portray a character, the whole thing fell flat. With not only the campiness of it, the really bad one-liners, the horrible hairdos, and suddenly you made Catwoman, or should say Halle Berry, not attractive in my mind. Like maybe it was just like the whole overall picture that just kind of made me not think about it that way, because she's a very attractive woman, and I've enjoyed her in other movies, only because of her walking in her bikini or topless, but just not somebody who, and even then this is a movie that doesn't require great acting chops by any means, but it was banging on zero cylinders. The engine just never got started, and I just think it was horrible, and on top of that, the suit was ridiculous. When you're thinking of cat suit, you think of a full body, skin tight suit. You don't think of a bustier and leather pants with heels.
Maybe it was the mask.
Maybe it was the mask. I don't know. Either way, it just had nothing for comic book fans. It had nothing for female fans that were looking for another strong character because, again, there was just nothing about it that really worked out well for me. And really, she was just a cat burglar the whole time. She liked shiny things and she stole it. How simplistic can you make a character? I'm sorry, just the whole movie got a big no from me. And I even attempted it because it actually promoted itself as a DC movie.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, big time bad no, and no wonder it flopped.
That's all I got to say about that, because I don't have anything to say about it other than I saw bits and pieces, and every time I turned it on, I was like...
I was kind of rooting for you, Hallie. Sorry, just didn't pull it off.
Maybe you should have brought Billy Bob Thornton in there.
Could have made you feel good.
Maybe not. Moving right along, we needed to throw a little bit of a shade in the X-Men's direction, and we got
a lot for it.
Yeah, we just picked the worst one because of the last one. Because there's other ones that are pretty bad too. But
continuity be damned.
Yeah. So number 6 is X-Men: Dark Phoenix, or should I say Sansa? I mean, because
Sansa Phoenix.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I watched the whole movie. He hasn't seen it, but I didn't
need to.
Yeah, I didn't. I just kind of gave him the lowdown on it, and it just seems like, to me personally, Jennifer Lawrence was like, why am I still doing these movies? I just want to be Jennifer Lawrence. And nobody really wants to like oblige her and make her just Jennifer Lawrence in a movie. I think it'd be pretty darn fun and cute. Yeah. Instead, she's playing characters that were pretty decent in a very low kind of role with very few words.
She could even do a mockumentary of herself, some kind of autobiography. That'd probably be hilarious and actually entertaining because it seems like she's a better person than she is an actor.
But anyway, she didn't like the makeup, obviously, because she barely wore it for this film, and then they kill her off.
Yeah, which is also funny when you make a lot of special mention about not hiding behind a mask and being who you truly are and being proud that you're a mutant, but then suddenly turning into never being a mutant because you want more face time on the screen.
Or just hating the makeup. I couldn't tell you exactly what the difference
was. Oh, we get it. Yeah, lots of people don't like to go through all that makeup. Look at the entire cast of, all 3 movies of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, makeup is a big portion of that. When you take on that role, you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, but she definitely didn't want to do that anymore, didn't want to do the character anymore, and every time she's hanging out with people that are other mutants, she's still Jennifer Lawrence. And you're going, when did Jennifer Lawrence get into the X-Men universe? Because I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be Mystique.
Never read about her in any comic book.
Yeah, exactly. And, bringing Wolverine back for 5 seconds for whatever reason to be, taller than the rest of the cast? Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, so...
to yet again be character inaccurate.
Yeah, well, just everything about that movie was just hard to watch.
Yep.
It was rough. I don't
know why you did it. I don't know why you kept on going with it. You should have taken the hint a long time ago with numerous other flops, but yet somehow people kept on giving you money, so I guess I can see why you didn't want to let it die, so...
Yeah, I think it's dead now.
Yeah, good, dead and
dead
gone.
Dead in the water.
So let's see what you can do with it, Disney. Looking for a full reboot, and we're looking for more accurate characters.
You might get me to watch MCU again.
You might.
I don't know. But
food for thought.
Just haven't a clue anymore. I don't know what you're doing. But I'm glad it ended.
Indeed. So that brings it up to number 5. Yes. And we could say specifically Superman Returns, but you could pretty much say everything from original Christopher Reeve's Superman, first one, to Man of Steel, first time we got to see Henry Cavill, and everything else surrounding it, a big fat no.
Yeah. I mean, the first
Superman
is like the first comic book movie. Yeah. So you can't hate the first Superman.
No.
And Man of Steel was the first time Batman fans could enjoy a Superman movie.
And even we got behind it a little bit. We're like, hey, finally, a Superman movie is kind of entertaining. I can get behind this a little bit.
Everything else stunk. I did enjoy Superman being split into 2 different characters, and one was a drunk. That was funny.
That was fun.
but it's stupid.
Mhm.
And yeah, so Superman Returns was just like, this guy's a fan.
Sending the only other 3 people like you on your planet into a piece of black glass and shooting them off into the universe, that was kind of different. But hey, befitting for evil characters. Why not?
Yeah, they ran with that for Man of Steel and did a fine job rebooting
Mhm.
that, I suppose.
I
But
really like the actor they got to play
Zod.
Zod.
Yeah. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Superman Returns. We're talking about the X-Men franchise director being a fanboy for Superman, at least the original Superman movies.
Yeah,
And
Bryan
making,
Singer, we had a lot of hope for you in the first X-Men movie, and then from that point on, it just took a direct nosedive, and it just makes me wonder about a lot of things.
yeah, you're the unusual suspect, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that movie was just hot garbage from the very get-go, where you felt like you went into a time warp with all the weird planet and the lights and stuff. I was like, man, I'm in a 3D movie that doesn't work. What is going
Brandon
on
Routh
here?
was a different take on it. He didn't really look Superman-esque, in my opinion. He was a big guy, but he didn't really fit and fill the suit the way that I thought he should. And I was even getting behind the idea of Kevin Spacey before we figured out what kind of a true person he was behind the scenes. So luckily we don't have to deal with him anymore, and hopefully his career is dead and gone. But it was definitely, it had a little bit of something that I thought,
really,
okay, I can see where we're going with this. Maybe, wait, nope, trailing off in the left field again, and we're gone. All right.
But I was never a Superman fan to begin with.
No.
So that's why he's only sitting at number 5 right now.
Yeah.
And moving right along again, this is actually a guy I was a fan of, and I didn't mind his first 2 movies. They weren't bad. The second one actually
There's
was
some
pretty
redeemable
good.
qualities in that franchise.
I really enjoyed Doc Ock. But when you brought in so many other characters, and then you brought in emo Peter Parker, where he's just like, man, what's up? Saturday Night Fever up in this mother. We're talking about Spider-Man 3 here.
Not the direction you want to go to suddenly turn somebody cool.
Yeah, so the 4th is Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful. And on every level, just an awful movie.
Dumpster fire.
I don't
it
even...
smells twice as bad.
And then having Foreman play Venom, what were you thinking? Topher, what were you thinking?
Topher, I think that you could be a great actor. I think there are certain roles out there that are built for you.
Not in a Predator movie.
Quit playing roles that are not for you. A Predator movie, you could definitely throw in a definite mention in there for Adrian Brody as the main badass of a Predator movie, a supposed soldier, a scrunt. Yeah, just no.
You played a
no.
better mentally challenged guy in The Village.
I had a lot more respect for you for a long time than Robert Rodriguez. What were you thinking? Obviously, you let the casting director have all the say.
Well, I don't know, but back to Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Lowell from Wings as your Sandman wasn't such a bad idea if you would have stuck with that as
He's
your
an
main
unsung,
character.
Good actor for sure.
And then James Franco as the Green Goblin, Dose, was pretty rough. A lot of bad CGI did not help this movie.
No.
So much bad CGI.
Another one that I think was kind of running off of the success of its previous movies that just kind of felt like they didn't have to do much. All I got to do is just, here we go, it's a Spider-Man movie. Oh, we got to go see it!
I would say a lot of these movies I never really wanted to see, and eventually saw them for free when there was nothing to do. So that's your first clue why they're not very good, because I didn't feel like seeing them.
Well, if we keep on riding on this train of remakes and trilogies, you're going to wear out the fan base pretty quick.
Anyway, I like the black suit. I like Venom a lot. Why'd you ruin it for me?
Why?
Why'd
you go there?
Why'd you do that? It wasn't fun anymore. Not that it was...
We could give you a little bit of leeway if you just weren't thinking, but still, why didn't somebody else come up and say, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
It had to be a good close friend of the director or the writer of anybody that could have stopped it before it went there. It's like, hey, put this house fire out before we lose it.
I bet there's fans of this movie somewhere.
Sure.
I bet there is.
There's a lot of superficial fans out there that don't take the time to really delve into the characters or the story or continuity or plot or any of that stuff. They just want to be entertained for a little bit, and that's great because a lot of these movies are for you. That's true.
But some of these movies are still...
When you want to be a little bit more introspective, when you want to analyze a little bit, actually focus on what the movie's made up of, you start to see the ones that fall flat.
Some of these movies are still entertaining to certain people, I guess, and you at a certain time in your life. I mean, I've watched a lot of these movies and cracked up, but I was not in a very good place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if I'm looking for a movie to make fun of and laugh at the whole time, I can just hop on this list. Need go no further.
MS2 3000 is a wonderful gift to the world.
Yes.
And I've used it aplenty in my sarcastic realm.
It's nice to know there are other people out there that share our cynicism and humor.
Moving right along again.
And wit.
So, number 3 on our list, would you like to talk about this one?
Well, and see, this was a time where this actor was not any of my lists that were for anything good. He could have been top 10 list for horrible actors at that point, or just douchebag actors. I'm sorry to say it,
Great
but for a while
touches.
there, it's nice to see that you redeemed yourself in a lot of ways, because
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, I didn't think had anything worthwhile until like Argo, The Town, Batman versus Superman, Batman. Yeah, then you're starting to redeem yourself from there on out. And so it was unfortunate to see that you didn't come back and actually get a standalone Batman movie. Would have loved to have seen what could have been.
We got
But
Battinson.
we're not talking about that. We're going way back to your first attempt at a superhero movie that bombed horribly, and for good reason, because yes, yet again another hot dumpster fire.
Ooh.
Daredevil.
Some
Yeah.
really bad acrobatic CGI in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad acting.
Taking a great concept and a pretty decent character, one who we thought for sure should have had his own movie, and waiting for the day when he comes back around to be a good character again. We could put an honorable mention in for the TV show because it has moments, but it just drug it on way too long, and then it suddenly wasn't about Daredevil anymore, but the four defenders that came out of that, and again, just still, yeah, sorry guys, not interested.
Sorry. You know, the Elektra's in this movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess you could say that was our introduction to Jennifer Garner as Elektra, and that was interesting.
She was better as an alias.
Yeah.
But
did it warrant her own movie spinoff? No. Not in the slightest.
But
because,
I'm not throwing that in here because
that's not even on our list. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's not even a mention.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to talk about their playground fight. And just how wonderful was that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
Teeter-totters getting some screen time for a change. You know, it's just something that you never thought you'd see again and nobody even cared about. But hey, it made it relevant
I will
again.
say that the wire work people have gotten better over the years. Because
Yeah.
if you look back at these movies, you're like, wow, wire work is really obvious and crappy. But then now you're like, whoa, there's wire work? It's not that bad.
Good job.
Yeah, so wire work guys, good on you.
I mean, people can't fly and jump leap a single building or leap a building in a single pound.
You know, Colin Farrell did a wonderful job with a very stupid character.
True. I guess you could say that he might have been the best actor of the movie.
Michael Clark Duncan did not cure Ben Affleck. Daredevil's prostate cancer in this film, which I think probably would have helped. It probably
usually curable, but for some reason, I guess they decided to just let it go until it became an evil two-headed monster. You know,
it just didn't work out for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, it just it crashed and burned in so many ways, and it's gonna go down in the annals of history. Just that it's not a good movie. Sorry, Ben Affleck, you bombed.
One good shot in the whole film, and that's one that they took from a comic book cover, where he's like on the church, steeple, and the cross is kind of hanging out. Like
one thing I guess you could say they've all done well in some ways is, okay, it's a cool costume, pose.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a comic book movie now.
Nobody
Cut
did that.
It, print it, ship it.
Nobody did that quite as good as Aquaman. Whoa! Did you see that shot at the end?
Yeah.
Pose. And so that was obvious, but it was pretty nice. Anyway, moving right along to number 2 on our list, which is one that we both hate immensely because we love the character.
This is my personal favorite character that holds a second candle only to Batman in my superhero fandom, movie franchise and all that. It's just they've done so well with them in the comic book over the years.
Yeah.
So well. It just really behooves somebody to finally make a worthwhile Wolverine character and movie.
Yeah.
So far, we have not gotten them.
Yeah.
I almost liked Hugh Jackman in the first X-Men movie just because it was cool to see somebody with the sideburns who was he was buff scrawny at that time. He wasn't quite to the shreddedness that he is now. But
we let it go because we never seen an X-Men live-action movie before.
Mm-hmm.
We let it go.
Yeah, and we thought it was pretty good until, at one point in that movie, the Australian accent slipped out big time. Now, I don't need to tell you, crash through the windshield. Sabretooth, what the heck's going on here? Just completely overlooked. Yeah. So, as opposed to being completely inaccurate for height and for so many other things about him, because I've always thought of Hugh Jackman as a suave person, not a burly, I'll mess you up, bub. I've got a height complex because I'm 5'3".
Yeah, especially when you're 6'3".
Yeah.
So we're talking
when you're a whole foot taller than the character you're trying to portray, and as far as I'm concerned, didn't really do a good job kind of harnessing the grimacing, gruff demeanor, but yet likable because he's still a superhero. He still ultimately does good and has a moral code.
But what movie are we talking about here?
We are talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. The first of his Wolverine standalone flicks.
Mm-hmm.
With really bad CGI.
Yeah.
And a sorry excuse.
Horrible continuity.
For Deadpool. Why did you do that to him?
Our first introduction to the Merc with a mouth, and you removed his freaking mouth. I don't get it.
Lee Schreiber is a good choice for
Mhm.
Sabretooth,
Yeah.
but when he's like literally like a clone of the Wolverine basically in this flick, it's not working. If you had somebody maybe 5'10" playing the role, I wouldn't have felt so bad about it. Maybe give Sabretooth blonde hair.
I don't know, like, yeah, maybe yet again, character accurate?
I don't
No?
know.
I don't know, yeah, again, continuity and character accuracy be damned.
And why was Mary Adult Brandybuck in this film? And why was Will I Am in this film?
Completely worthless.
What is going
Sorry,
on?
but just, why? Why?
What did you do?
I guess they just really liked overly repetitive stutter stepping. And apparently that's
And
all they really wanted him in
not
there
a
for.
bad choice. John Carter, not a bad choice for Gambit.
Yep,
Just
not
a
bad.
terrible movie to be in,
Mm-hmm.
and some really bad special effects jumping.
Yeah.
But-
Which, side note, we could totally get a Gambit movie going here at some point. I'd be completely okay with a Raging Cajun hitting the screen in a worthwhile role.
Yeah,
Why not?
maybe
That'd be great.
Maybe in the new X-Men MCU.
Yeah,
I don't know,
franchise.
whatever.
Why not?
You do it right.
Got a lot of things to work with there, Disney. We're just feeding you all this information. It's
Ugh.
all free. Just
What
take
are
it,
you
please,
doing?
please. But yeah, just absolutely utter garbage and just not true and correct to the story whatsoever. Not true to the character. Why?
Giant green
I
screen.
could go on
And
for hours.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yeah,
They just
cool,
walk
ridiculously tall guys with bell bottoms don't look at explosions.
They just, scratch their fake CGI claws in the ground and make sparks that burn with all that
Mhm,
gasoline, and
mhm.
boom, explosion.
Yep. Light the whole thing on fire, kill it with fire, just blow it up.
How
It
did-
doesn't need to be anymore.
How did Wolverine get that really cool motorcycle jacket? I really want a cool story about a motorcycle jacket.
Yeah, why not? An obscure side note to who he is, because he's had a lot of cool jackets. Heck, he's worn cowboy hats a lot, people. Have we ever seen Hugh Jackman wear one of those in anything
in
other than
movies.
Australia?
Yeah.
Which apparently was his best movie so far, Hugh Jackman.
Weird.
Anyways, just all that to say, no, don't ever do it again. Please leave it alone.
Stop.
You got way too many movies in the first place. We are done with seeing one of our favorite characters destroyed.
Yes.
End rant. Moving that on.
Moving right along to our
to
last and our best.
Our
worst.
number one best worst. Yes.
And it's Batman again with Batman and Robin.
Batman and Chris O'Donnell.
Bat
Blah.
nipples. Bat nipples.
Bat nipples, Alicia Silverstone. What the heck on so many levels? You are the Dark Knight. You are a creature of the night. You instill fear in anybody who sees you and knows about you and hears a name, and you're standing up on stage, waving all nice for the camera and the people while doing a freaking fundraiser. Are you kidding me, George Clooney?
Bat credit card.
Bat drive-through.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah, product placement out the wazoo, neon lights everywhere. Joel Schumacher, sorry, but I'm not a fan of you. You have ruined a lot of
We
what could have
thought
been.
that Batman was done.
Mhm.
Setting the bar really low was a good idea for somebody like Christian Bale and somebody that's going to play Batman next and whatnot, and
Oh
Christopher
yeah,
Nolan.
it was a
The bar
slam
was so
dunk.
low.
You set it up for Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, the bar was so low.
So low.
And I get that maybe you were a fan of like the original 1960s camp, but with leather
Early
nipples.
90s techno, maybe, I guess.
I don't
I
get
don't
what
understand
was
where your
Arnold
inspiration's coming
Schwarzenegger
from.
is Mr. Freeze. It's so good.
Yes, the studious, evil genius that was Mr. Freeze, calm, cool, and collected, suddenly turned into a...
All right,
idiot.
everyone, chill.
And we like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He
Yeah.
could have actually maybe have done something with this, but
Maybe.
it's like when you were just egging him on for the one-liners, or you just kind of gave him too much freedom to do whatever he wanted to. I don't know what you were thinking about all of it, but again, if you were looking for purely a chin to even fit the cowl, why are you going for George Clooney?
It
Yet
didn't even
again,
fit the cowl.
Didn't even fit the
It
cowl.
didn't work.
I don't understand what any of this was. None of this is not how. This is not how this works. This is not how any of this works.
Rubber ice or plastic ice? I couldn't tell you which, but
Either way.
bat skydiving
Yeah.
or sky surfing. Sorry. And what about go bat skates?
Ugh.
Ice skates. We're gonna go hockey with a. Anyway, it's just
Yeah,
it's so good.
So much.
So good.
So much to talk about. We could be here for hours.
But that
we'll
Bane
just leave it
was
there.
relatively accurate compared
Relatively,
to the other
yeah.
Bane.
Heck, you
No.
can even say Uma Thurman did a pretty good job being Poison Ivy because,
Bit campy too, but
yeah, that can't be. But again, why are the side characters, and completely side characters in that movie too, getting the honorable mentions when
Yeah.
everything else about it should have been great?
I'm not
When you
even gonna
had
talk
so
about-
much to work up to, and you just threw it out the window and let it fall flat.
let's sort of kill Alfred, but not kill Alfred, and let's make Batgirl his niece.
Hmm?
What? I mean, first off, she's American, and second off, she's Barbara Gordon.
Again,
Commissioner Gordon's
remaining
daughter.
character and story accurate here, but no, let's
Flipping
not.
tables.
Let's just throw the whole thing out the window.
Anyway.
Let's just be done. Let it die the death of a thousand suns.
The irony of that Batman being the best comic book movie and Batman and Robin being the worst comic book movie maybe shows you a little bit about our bias. But
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we got bias. We get it. We understand that. We have our own opinions. Somebody else can have their own opinions too. But
you're entitled.
again,
You're entitled. We're all entitled. It's America.
Subjectively, you can have your own opinion about this. That's fine. But when you're talking objectively about whether it's a good movie or a bad movie, Batman and Robin was one of the worst. Just a bad movie.
I've been able to laugh at it now, but
Yeah.
that's only because we've moved on. Thank
Yeah.
God for that. Thank God for moving on.
There's been one or two since then comedic watches just to make fun of it, just to see,
Oh, but I don't
just
watch
to
it
remind
every year.
ourselves how bad it is. But
Yeah.
man, I can't even do that anymore. When you actually sit down to like a bad B flick, just because you're going to watch it for the hilarity of how bad the cinematography is, the acting, the writing, the plot, whatever it is, you don't think of a big budget movie like that when you were going
Yeah.
for that kind of
It's usually a low
genre, and
budget.
it fits firmly in there.
Yeah.
It's just ugh.
One day you might be able to watch it again and laugh hysterically. Who knows?
Exactly.
Anyway.
But I will throw a big apology out there to anybody. If any of these were specifically your favorite movie of all times,
I'm not
we're sorry
I'm sorry. I'm
that
not
you
sorry.
have bad movie taste. No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
But you have to understand it and see it from the world of cinematography as a whole. And you can see all these other great movies, not even comic book movies, and you can still put it up against those and realize that even then, it's still a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're funny because they're so bad, but it's because they have so much money that they shouldn't be,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's not Sharknado, all right? It's not.
It's bad on purpose. They're doing that for a reason. This
Yeah.
one, you can actually tell they were trying to make it a good movie. Like, they had no idea. Yet again, they didn't have any good, true friends next to them. Just kind of stop and be like, whoa, dude, I'm
Making mistakes.
gonna jump
here.
on this grenade for you before you do, because, we wish there has been so many times where studio execs would have stepped in and been like, sorry, guys, not gonna happen.
Let me just say, I'd rather watch the Mission Impossible franchise over any of these flicks.
Yep.
That's how much I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're not even Tom Cruise fans, but hey, some of the Mission Impossible movies were pretty good too.
Yeah,
So
right.
again, we can
Right.
we can throw credit where it's due here and there, but when it comes down to these, and there's just none due whatsoever, it takes a full top 10 list to really display and talk about and really divulge just how bad they truly were.
Let's
So,
not even talk about it anymore. We don't
Let's
have
not
to.
even talk about that.
Yeah,
Let's
we
just be done with the whole idea and topic.
Yeah.
So
Move
apologize
on.
to people who actually like these movies.
Move
For the
on.
rest of you, hope you liked it. Hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed our thoughts, process, and take on this whole thing. Again, let us know what you think about it, what you agree with, disagree with. We can start a whole forum about this, and we can get on the bandwagon to really push Disney in the right direction from here on out.
Yeah.
It's us, the fans, who should be speaking out more about this. They
And you
don't
can
tend to
comment.
listen to us anymore, and they don't really care, but in some ways, Disney's doing that a little bit. So we'll just hopefully encourage them into better things.
Why not? I mean, there's plenty of comic book movies to choose from nowadays. You can laugh, you can cry, you can love, whatever.
Mhm.
And you can like or subscribe and talk to us
Yeah,
about
you can
what's
do
going
all
on.
the usuals as we roll the end credit screens. So we'll go ahead and pass this back off to you.
Yeah.
Goodbye. We'll see you next time.
Next week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, why not?
on the next one.
Sure. Bye bye.